Welcome back to Boat Extras. I hope you liked the last one. A, the content, and B, it was 30 odd minutes long, was it? Something like that. I thought that was acceptable, and there was quite a bit of work that was involved as well. So I'm going to try my best. I'm not promising, can't promise, but I'm going to try my best to keep it to that sort of level. So the date is today, Tuesday the 11th of November, and it's the afternoon. What time is it now? It is 20 to 2. Should have been starting this in the morning. However, I've been on a little bit of a bargain hunt, and the reason for that is I shall show you. Not that you're going to be interested, but I'm going to show you anyway. Now, I used one of those that John owns. It's a finger file or saw. I've forgotten what they call it now. It's a finger sander or a yeah, it's a finger sander. Anyway, I spotted one of those. I spotted this on a well-known website that does advertisements, Marketplace, and it was for the pricely sum of £10. And I thought that would be marvellous. And do you know why it was marvellous? Because I have a lot of the sanding bands that would have gone on John's that go on this. So it was worth me going to Garstang. Hello Dave, if you are watching. And I bought it off Dave, who's a very nice chap because he likes his motorbikes like I do, and he likes his old cars, which of course I do as well. So I bought that off him, and then he showed me these here. Now I'm still unsure what that is. It looks like one of these plunge saws. It's got no blade, and of course that's a jigsaw, which I've already got. But do you know what? For 25 of your finest English pounds, I was able to take charge of all three. Now I thought that was a bargain, and let's face it, when you're dealing with a boat, you need some bargains because it's not cheap doing one of these. So I'm happy that I'm late because I've got some more tools to play with. It won't be my favourite tool because my favourite tool, as you know, is a router. So with that said, I'm going to get aboard and I'm going to have a look and I'm going to see what work I can do. So I will see you aboard. Okie dokie, welcome aboard. Now, as you can see, they've dried quite nicely for the first coat, so I think it'd be rude not to do the reverse side. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that's the first job of the afternoon. I think I'm going to do that. And also, what has arrived is our 22mm iron-on banding that should go on there. So let's just open that up a bit. Let's have a little look. Make sure we've got something that's near enough the right size. Sorry if I'm making you sick, but I'm trying to do it with, well, I'm doing it with two hands. If I stick that on there, that looks pretty good in the way of width. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that, if it goes, if I can get the iron to go around a corner, maybe I might have to use a heat gun or something. I don't know. Never done anything like this. Well, I have done things, but they've all been straight. If I just stick that to there, will it stick? Probably not. Yeah, I think that it's going to look good. So that is a job that can be going on this episode. I shall put that over there. You can see the ballast in the other one. Oh, that's where the ballast lives. So yeah, I'm going to do these sides first. They need gluing down into position because I'm happy with those. So they can be done. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to crack on and coat the other sides, and well, you'll be back. I find it easier to go with the grain, to be honest, when I do this. And I'm also trying to be careful not to go on the areas where I'm going to be sticking the new oak with the iron, because I want it to be as I don't want anything to stop it from sticking. Using a sponge is so much easier because it takes out all the marks really from a brush. I think I should have bought in a bigger can, to be honest. There we go. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. So that one is done on that side. This one is also complete. Slightly darker that, but that's one of the older oak panels. But as I said, that's going to go in. That's leaning over that way. You can't see the join on that one, which is good. So we'll leave them in peace, and I think we'll crack on with the next job, which is beadings. I think that one can definitely go on. That one can definitely go on. I think possibly the bottom ones can go on as well. So I think that one could go on because it's not going to interfere with that, is it? So I think I'm going to do that one, that one, that one there, complete that side, glue those down, and then move on to the next job. Okay, so I'll get my ducks in a row and you'll be back. Well, there's number one on. I'm not entirely happy with the way that that's sitting, because what I've failed to do is put sufficient wood behind the ply in order to staple to it. And as I'm finding that, you know, it's well fixtured here up to here and here, but at that end and that end it's loose. So I'm going to have to figure out something. Maybe I could glue it at the top, or maybe that's sufficient to hold it into place, just in case, you know, you have to take them off or what have you. That one has, as you can see, that has got sufficient wood behind it, so that one should fit better than that one. So word of warning for anybody that's replying the interior of their boat is to make sure you think well in advance of your final bits, what you're going to actually attach it to. So I've failed on that count. I mean, I can obviously do it to there, but yeah, it looks better than it actually fits. So I'm just going to do this. I have coated it, by the way. Let me just put you there a second. All I'm doing is this is actually bare, so I'm using the sponge wherever Mr. Sponge has gone. Of course you disappeared, Mr. Sponge. There you are. So obviously there's plenty of residue of doing those over there, so all you do is just coat the back. It's just to stop moisture, I suppose, getting into the back and maybe warping it. And then just, it's virtually dry, but at least it gives it its first coat. There we go. So I shall offer that up. I've sanded the edges as well. I didn't want them sharp, I just wanted to round them off a bit. I've missed a bit there, can you see? Oh, maybe it's the wood. Right, I'll put Mr. Sponge over there. So shall we see if this one fits better? I'll put you... Will you stay there? Yeah, I think you're alright there. Can't see you falling over. Yeah. So I've had to extend the length of these pins. I have to get some longer ones to actually go through to that ply. So let's just see if this fits better. I think about there will be okay. They don't fit absolutely true, but yeah, that's held. So that's a lot better. Yeah. So remember that, folks. Make sure that you have sufficient behind it in order to attach your final bits. And because this is dry, I can use it like that. There you go. Yeah, okay. So the next one I'm going to do is that one there. And I think I have to do a little bit of work on the corners of that flat one, and I'm not so sure if it's exactly the right size, so I will have a look at that, trim it into place, shoot some pins in it, and I'll show you after I've done it. Well, the centre one went on, well, that's as predicted. That went on really well because it's flat and you could get more purchase with it. You know about that one, that went well, and that one didn't go so well. So that's that bit done. This is what I'm thinking. I probably haven't got enough to do that and that because I want these two long lengths to go around there and finish that off. And I think if I do those and not that yet, I might have, when I come to buy some more of this expensive stuff that seems to be like gold, there might be balances that I could use to then put across there, because I've got those long lengths to do as well. So I think I'm going to attempt to put one of those there. If it doesn't work, I might need John to help me. So I'll start it off and then we'll see how we go. Right, so this is my idea with these flat pieces. as you can see, I think that looks so much better than that metal edging that I had on. And what also I've done is I've raised it so there is a lip there, because if there's anything on the top, it just stops it from falling off. So I thought that was a decent idea as well. And also I could, if I wanted, if I just raise it enough, I could put a finishing bead on the other side like that, just to round it off, because I can go down with that. So if I keep it at that height all the way around, like that, I think that would work really well. So I was going to ask you what your thoughts are, but you're not going to pop out the GoPro, are you, and go, yeah, I think that's marvellous, or no, I don't. So there you go. I'm going to do that. I'm going for it. So I'm going to get that all nice and level. I'm going to use that quadrant there as my guide all the way around, so I get it nice and level, and then we'll see what it looks like once I've done it. So stay tuned. Oh, in fact I might leave it running actually. No I won't. No I won't, because it'll be an hour and a half and we don't want that, do we? There we go. It's gone on easier than I thought that. Got it nice and true and level at the front there. I think that looks far better than the actual that aluminium strip. So I'll just get my cutter and cut that off around there, because there'll be bead going along there as well when those two dividers are butted up to there anyway. And I can do that I can give that a coat. I can mask off if I'm happy with the colour anyway. You can see that bit that I did at the end there, just to see whether the colour would blend in. It would blend in quite nicely there. So as I say, that is a good idea for a lip. You don't see the edge of the ply anyway, so it's good. So I'll slice those off and I'll stain them up, and then we'll have a final look. Okay. I just need to top that sponge up with a bit more stain. Not too much though. Go. Mr. Top, where are you? What have I done with the top? Probably kicked it over somewhere. Anyway, rather than keep you hanging on, there you go. Oh, the top's over there. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Out of everything that's been done there and there, I think this has been the most improvement of them all. and with the return bead going on the other side, if I think it warrants it, then so be it. So there we go. I'm trying to think oh yes, I know. Next job, get these stuck. So that's what I'll do next. You don't need to see that, of course. It's just sticking about a piece of ply on the floor. Nothing of a job. So we'll leave it for now. I'll see you back. Okay, quick update. They are glued and screwed into position. I decided to stain those two areas there because they will be affected by moisture, I'm sure. Even though those will be screwed to the faces, there's still the edges and things like that, so I thought it would be a good idea to just stain those. So the final staining of today will be, I'm just going to do the second coat on the face, which I did yesterday, so that's going to get a second coat, as is this there, and then I will probably call it a day because I've got something to do, and then tomorrow I will concentrate on those two things there, that those two covers. I'm going to sand them, and what I've done is, apparently they are a bit bowed, they don't sit flat, so from what I can gather, if you put them, I don't know when you can see whether there's one down there or not. Is there one down there? I think there is. If you put it on a concrete damp surface, apparently they go flat. So I'm going to put them overnight on that surface and I'll see whether that works. And if it doesn't, well, I've got two options. One is I can leave them as they are, which will probably bug me, or I will alternatively make two more new ones, because I've got ply that I can do that. And that's it. So I've given those two beads there, the curved ones, another coat, as I did with those beadings as well, and they're starting to tone out quite nicely now. So that is it. So I'm going to do that one, call it a day, and then I will see you in the morning. So until then, I switched you off quicker than I should have. I was going to say, have a good day, have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Okay, so this has had its final heavy coat of stain, just to bring all the colours to a uniformed look. And as you can see, they're all looking pretty uniform there now. And that beading, of course, just blends in beautifully. So that is now heavily done, and I don't think I can improve on the colour. So I will allow that to dry, and as I say, we will. I've given those a coat, another coat as well. So there we go. So we've just got the quarters to do, and we'll call it a day. For what's that? What's that? Oh, it's a bag. Thought I'd got a ticket on it. So yeah, it's looking rather tasteful, I think. Is that light on? No, it's decided to go off again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. It's blending, it's looking good. It's looking good. Right, okay. Well, we'll get those quarters, those two things that I've forgotten what they're called. Well, you know what I mean. I'll get them coated, and we'll call it a day. And a warm welcome to Project Nauticus. Yes, it's still wet and windy out there. But on a brighter note, there's rather a lot of roadworks going on, and those potholes are getting filled in. Exactly. Brilliant. might save the suspension on the vehicle. Anyway, we are going up there because, well, not only have I had a brainstorm of an idea, I don't know whether it'll work, but I think it's worth a shot. And there's a few more trimmages to go on. I've been to Costa del B&Q to give them some more money for some oak trim. So that should keep them healthy for a few days. And I'm going to put them on today. I was going to put the trim, the oak trim, around the dividers, but I forgot my iron. So I can't do those today. But I have got this other idea that I'm going to test out and, well, wait and see. Come with me aboard. Right, welcome aboard. We're going to be using some of this ply today, and I'll show you why soon. But that's looking rather even, don't you think? Colours in there. I think that's looking rather nice now. Yes, I'm very happy with the colours. Yeah, and the colour in here is looking good. Looking very uniformed. So pleased I've used that stuff. That's going to be great. Serve a purpose as well. So we've got these to put on. The plywood, yes, the plywood, obviously I'm going to have to deal with up there. So I'm going to use the ply and cut some sheets up so then they all go along there, and then we can put some trim along there to finish that off. So, do you want to see my brainstorming idea? I was looking on YouTube, as you do, and I was thinking, you know these joins here? So everybody puts a finishing strip, don't they? Everybody puts a finishing strip, something like that there. And actually, in all fairness, they don't look too bad at all, because they'll end up looking like that. But I thought, what about if I use something thinner? Like, for example, that on there, like so. Wouldn't stick out as much, wouldn't be as obvious. And I know I can't do it with this side. Well, when I say I can't do it, I know I can't go all the way down to the end of the joint because we've got the windows in. But there's no reason why I can't go to the edge. Now, some of you will already be chomping at the bit to say, you'll burn the rubber. Well, yes, you're right. I would probably melt the butter, melt the rubber. But if I use the heat gun there and bubble the glue on the back of it before I stick it on, and then waft the gun over it, I reckon that will stick. So much so, I'm prepared to give it a go. I think that. And do you know what? If it doesn't look any good, and that looks better, well, I'll just put one of those over the top of it. Obviously I won't be able to do it on those until the windows go in, but I can certainly put over the top of these. I just think that they won't look as obvious. And what made me think that is because these, you know, they're not fully, you know, that does annoy me. I can imagine, I can see at some point I'm going to have to do something about that, but maybe I'm being finicky. But I think that is more of a positive. So I'm going to give it a go, and you're going to see it. Yes. So that's my first job. I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to put these on underneath here, along there and along there. Then the trims are going to go on, and well, we'll see how we go. And you will at some point be in and out of the video seeing my progress. So I'll get all my ducks in a row, and then you'll be back to see me put the first one on. See you in a minute. Right, I think you're set up there. Can't get you any closer than that. So I think the idea is I'm going to use the heat gun to heat the glue on the back first, and then I'm going to place it in its position, and then lightly go over the heat gun on this side without scorching it, of course, and hopefully that will work. So I've got my gun ready. I'm going to use this as a spatula to press it into place. So we'll give it a go. How hard can it be? Well, I need to plug it in first. Let's plug you in. There we go. Right. So I've cut it that bit longer because I don't want to scorch my fingers either. So I know roughly how far I've got to go with it. So, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like it's melting it. Out. I think it could be working. Should we let that go off? I think we should. Stay mute. Now, fortunately, these are quite flush. The exception that's got a little tiny bit of a lip there. I might be able to file that down. But the majority of them are really flat, so that obviously helps. But I think that's going to work. From the side, it's definitely glued. Is that a curly bit? Well, we'll let it cool off, we'll trim it off and we'll have a look, and then we'll whack a bit of stain on it and we'll see. In fact, no, we won't whack a bit of stain on it. What I'll do is I'll glue a piece of this is spare, this, but what I'll do is I'll get a piece of waste ply, I'll stick some of this to a piece of waste ply, and we'll stain it and we'll have a look, see what it looks like. So, stay tuned. Alright. I've stuck a piece to that piece of wood there. And that's properly stuck, that. Let's put a bit of stain on that. In fact, I'll use the residue off the side of the screw head. I don't think that's too bad, do you? Bring it into the light. I know it's on a dark piece of oak and it looks a bit silly, but if we put it up against that, I think that looks pretty good. I think that's workable. That. Probably a bit early to do this, but I'm intrigued. Well, I think that's and what I like about it is that we can put the window, and I don't think that's going to interfere with the rubber as well. And as I said, I wish I would have known about it, or should come up with that idea on the other side, but I didn't. So I have to work with what I've got. But I don't think that's too bad. And it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb like they do. Right, well, there we go. I think the first idea, as far as I'm concerned, is good. Now, you can have an opinion actually about it, because I am going to I've decided I'm going to do all the joints around with that, and then I'm going to carry on with the other work. Sorry, it's on an angle. I'm going to carry on with the other work. This video will go out at some point this week, and then I can get the feedback off you to see whether you think that's a good idea or it isn't a good idea. Okay, is that fair? I think it is. Right, okay, I'll crack on. I'll let you know how I'm getting on. Right, small update, there you go. I've got that one on. So I heated it up really, really well, and then quickly stuck it into place. Didn't use the heat gun anywhere near these rubbers, and I think that's worked. So that one and that one's done. That one's done. That one's not done for the reason that still I need to get that stuck. So then that makes that flush. So I can't do that one yet. These two, well, that top one, as you know, is satisfactory. This one, there's still a bit of a, I mean, there's a shadow from the light. So once it's stained, I will see whether it's obvious or not. So I'll reserve judgment with that one. I might have to file that down more to get it absolutely flat. But that one's good, as is that one. That's good. So at the moment, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8 are good. One's not done and one's looking a bit dodgy, that one there. But I think generally when they are out, all stained out, I think that'll be great. So I'm going to leave those now, and I'm going to start on, what am I going to start on? I think I'm going to put that one on and that one on with these new ones that I've bought down there. So I'll crack on with that. I'll see you very shortly. Right, I'll just give you a quick update to see where we are at now. So what I've been concentrating on is, obviously I've done, well, you know about those around there. So I've been doing underneath here, there, applying that, and then putting this oak piece trim across there. It's loose round here because we've still got to deal with that, but you can see that the ply finishes there, so it's nice and neat underneath there. I don't think I need to line it with oak ply, to be perfectly honest. I'm not so sure. I'll debate that at a later date, but I could stain it and have a look, see what it's going to be. So I'm going to mask a line all the way around all the new bead that you can see, and then I'm going to stain them out. I've still got, oh, I had to trim this as well, because obviously the ply was 9mm, and I've had to take a piece out of there because I've had to, well, I've taken 9mm off this, to be honest, so it's a nice snug fit that now. John's been here as well, and we've had a discussion of what we're going to do for the main channel, and that is obviously we need to do some work on that. But as I've said to him, you know, it's all fiddly stuff is all this, so it seems silly that I'm taking all his time up just to do all the bits. So that's the reason why I'm doing it on this Boat Extras. So we won't be filming a major one until maybe next week. What am I saying now? Oh yes, so we were discussing this. He quite likes this as it is, without having the trim on it. What are your thoughts? I'm not going to do anything with it, so you can see for yourself whether you would agree, whether we should leave it like that and stain it and oil it and leave that as like a feature, or I can cover it with the oak ply that I bought. So I will be very interested to know what your thoughts are on that. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to do this side now. I'm going to do this upper section up to probably where that one finishes, and then maybe I'll have to cut that board down as well, by the look of it, because if I needed to cut that, you can bet your life I'll need to cut that one as well. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll call it a day, and I'll show you the finished article. I might even stain it as well, give it at least one coat, mask it off, so you'll see that shortly. Okay, see you later. Just before I throw this one, put this last piece in, basically what I did is it's dead straightforward, waste piece of 9mm ply, butted it up against there, drew a pencil line across where it meets, along there, cut it out with a jig, and then I got a waste piece of one of these here and marked a line on the piece there, so I knew where to drill. As long as it was in the centre, I would hit that piece there, and then basically offer it up like so, and then screw it into place. So I just thought I'd show you that last bit, just in case. I know most people will know exactly what to do, but there are people that are novices at this sort of thing, and I'm sure it's helpful. So I will crack on and get this final piece on, because I want to get one of those on there as well. See you in a minute. Okay, well, we're on the final hurdle. What I've done is obviously I've finished that off, and as you can see, I've masked up all the areas that are new today, and they're all going to get a one coat, or maybe even two, so we can build the coats up, and then eventually we can decide, or I can decide when the colour basically ends up looking like those two there, and they blend themselves completely out. So we'll leave the masking tape on, and we'll just keep coating and coating until eventually they all blend out completely. So I'm going to hoover up my dusty mess first, and then I'm going to give them a coat, and then I shall show you what I've done, and then I'm leaving for the evening. So that's what I'll do, and I will see you, well, once it's had a stain. Alright then, well, so what I've done, well actually I used the heat gun. Those two for some reason were really, I just couldn't get them to tone down, so a bit of a cheat code for you is to dry them off on each coat and then just gradually build them up, and they started now to blend out. But these, I'm really happy with these. These have turned out really well. I'm very happy with those. They blend out really well. So that is it for now. I think what I might do is I might it's Wednesday the 12th. I think tomorrow morning I will do my best to get this on, so that's Thursday. I think it's better to keep the time down and just show you as I'm going along. So that is what I will do, I think. Before I go, just have a quick look at these again. I would dearly like to know, if possible, if you could take the time to put yes to a strip or no to a strip. You can even just put in the comments yes or no. I'll know exactly what you mean. So it's either that, or I leave it as it is and I stain them like the rest, and then when they get sealed, they get sealed, because John seems to like that quirkiness. I would really like to know if you do. So if you could do that, I would be grateful. And also, thank you very much. I have noticed, in all fairness, I have noticed over the last 2 episodes that the like button has upped the ante, which I'm very much appreciated, because at the end of the day, it's partially my fault. Over the years, there was a gap of about a year, maybe a bit more, when I was ill, and people lose their way, and your algorithm and everything that goes with YouTube completely dies, and therefore you don't get, when you come back, you don't get the views like you used to. And I think that's one of the reasons why I get so little in the way of people watching. But if you could help me, I would be delighted, and it will get us out there again, and it'll help people, because there isn't that many English boat restorations on YouTube. They all tend to be either, you know, the big canal boats, or they tend to be from another country. So if you could press that like button for me, I would be grateful. It takes you a second to do. With that said, I will see you in the next one, and thank you for watching. Bye.